Nothing like herself. Her hair, once blonde, was plastered to her skull and dark at the roots. Her face had a sickly pallor, a large purple bruise on her right cheek, thin threads of dried blood at one corner of her mouth. All that was human in her wild, frantic eyes was fear. A fear so terrible she was still shivering as though she had gone out on a winter's day without a coat. She clutched the plastic coffee cup with both hands, like a lifeline. Usually, when Camille Verhoeven stepped into a room, even the coolest of customers reacted. Not Alice. Alice was shut away inside herself, trembling. It was 8:30 a.m. A few minutes earlier, when he had arrived at the Brigade Criminelle, Camille had felt tired. Dinner the night before had gone on until 1 a.m. People he did not know, friends of Irene. They had talked about television, told stories that Camille might have found quite funny, but for the fact that he was sitting opposite a woman who reminded him of his mother. All through the meal he had tried to dispel the image, but it was uncanny. The same stare, the same mouth, the same cigarettes, smoked one after the other. Camille had found himself swept back 20 years to a blessed time when his mother would emerge from her studio wearing a smock smeared with paint, a cigarette dangling from her lips, her hair dishevelled, a time when he would still go to watch her work. She was an Amazon, solid and focused with a furious brushstroke. She lived so much inside her head that sometimes she did not seem to notice his presence. Long, silent periods back when he had loved painting, back when he watched her every movement as though it might be the key to some mystery that concerned him personally. That was before the serried ranks of cigarettes declared open war on her, but long after they caused the fetal hypertrophy that marked Camille's birth. At the time, drawing himself up to his full height, he would never be taller than 4'11". Camille did not know which he hated more: the mother whose toxic habit had fashioned him into a kind of pale, slightly less deformed copy of Toulouse-Lautrec, or the meek, powerless father who gazed at his wife with pathetic admiration, as though at his own reflection in a mirror. At 16 he was already a man, though not in stature. While his mother accumulated canvases in her studio and his laconic father worked at the pharmacy, Camille learned what it meant to be short. As he grew older, he stopped desperately trying to stand on tiptoe, got used to looking at others from below, gave up trying to reach shelves without fetching a stool, laid out his personal space like a doll's house. And this diminutive man would survey without really understanding the vast canvases his mother had to roll up in order to take them to gallery owners. Sometimes his mother would say, "Camille, come here a minute." Sitting on a stool, she would silently run her fingers through his hair, and Camille knew that he loved her. At times he thought he would never love anyone else. Those were the good times, Camille thought over dinner as he stared at the woman sitting opposite who laughed raucously, drank little, and smoked like a chimney. The time before, his mother spent her days kneeling next to her bed, resting her cheek on the blankets, the only position in which the cancer gave her a little respite. Illness had brought her to her knees. And though by now each found the other unfathomable, this was the first time that they could look at each other eye to eye. At the time, Camille had sketched a lot, spending long hours in his mother's now deserted studio. When he decided to go into her room, he would find his father, who now also spent half his life on his knees pressed against his wife, his arm around her shoulders, saying nothing, breathing to the same rhythm as her. Camille was left alone. Camille sketched. Camille killed time.